largest of the seabird.
Yeah.
And yes, they do have the webbing. Their toes are all connected by a web, as I don't know whether you guys can see that in the water. As for friendliness, yes, they are a very friendly bird. Do you have any questions, Shania?
So, I've just noticed this just looking at them.
Yes.
These ones have a bit of yellow on their chest.
Yes.
What is that?
Look, their feathers and everything change colours for many different reasons. And in this case, the reason is just the salinity in the water here.
Yeah.
Because South Australia does have a very high salinity in the water. So it's just from being in the water that actually is. So we're not in breeding season at the moment. Breeding season is usually March to May. And you do see some changes in colours around those times. Those changes in colours though are predominantly around where the feathers are not. So as you can see, like around where the face is, their bill, their beak, it is going to start raining soon, guys. So, but we're just going to keep going anyway. That's what we do. So their beaks and around where it is what we call skin, does change colour, and it does go to like a yellow colour. However, the American white pelican does, during breeding season, what happens with them is the breeding males and females get what is called a horn that comes up onto their beak, just at the front of their, on top of their beak there is where it does come up. These Australian ones don't. And do you want to grab another pilly for them though? So during breeding season, the American white pelican does get a horn just on the top of their bill, and after breeding season that horn does just drop off. Now these are the Australian pelican. They are native to Australia. Now pelicans, they breed in what is called a colony, and they do breed out on islands and rocky islands and that sort of thing. Now they are found in every single ocean on the planet, from the tropics to the subtropics. South Australia here, we have them. They're actually quite prominent here in South Australia. We are in Coffin Bay today, where it is raining starting to rain quite heavily now. So they do breed in colonies. There are 8 different species of pelican. I was going to show you that on the whiteboard, but it is raining heavily. So we have here the Australian pelican.
So this really tells you how friendly they are, that they're slowly working their way over.
Yes, they will approach you. As far as like biting you and that is concerned, don't worry too much about that, because they won't really, their bite can't hurt you, as I proved a few weeks ago. I had one biting, or at least trying to bite, and it didn't really work for him. As far as defense mechanisms goes, their size is a bit of a deterrent for predators. They can grow anywhere from 4 feet up to 6 feet, a pelican.
Wow.
And their wingspan can be anywhere from 6 feet to 9 feet wide. So it really does depend on the pelican.
Right. So how many different species of pelicans?
There is 8 different species.
Yeah.
There is the Australian pelican, which we are looking at currently. There is the Dalmatian pelican. I do actually have the species of pelicans on the board, but I'm not going to show you because it is raining. There's the Dalmatian pelican, the Australian pelican. There is the great white pelican. That's funny. There is the white pelican, which is the American white pelican. There is the spotted-billed pelican.
Yeah.
There is the pink-backed pelican, the brown pelican, and of course the Peruvian pelican. So there's your 8 different species of pelican.
Now, is there any type of pelican that you don't see much of, or?
Look, it really depends the region you live in. We obviously wouldn't see the white pelican here, or the great white pelican here, or the Peruvian pelican. We see the Australian pelican, which is these guys in front of us.
So whereabouts is the great white pelican?
The great white pelican tends to be like around the American areas. Now, as I said before, they are found in just about every ocean of the world except the Antarctica. You will not find them there. Now, the other interesting thing about pelicans is you will never ever see a pelican in the open ocean.
And why is
their food source is not there.
Okay.
So they tend to hang around the shallows. Do you know what a group of pelicans is called?
I would have no idea what is a flock.
You would imagine it's called a flock.
Yeah.
They are known as a flock, but they are predominantly called a pod. Just like
the small pod of pelicans, what we have here today.
this, I wouldn't really call this a pod. Look, a pod is anywhere from...
Musketeers.
I would call these guys the Three Musketeers. They're just feeding together. Now, when you do get a group of pelicans that are hunting and feeding together, what you call that is a troop. So when they're hunting together, they are called a troop.
Oh, there you go. Kind of like a group of kangaroos, they're called a troop? Or a
Yeah, but these guys are only called a troop when they're hunting. But generally, as a rule, they're generally called a pod, or even they've been called a squadron too in the past as well. Now you see the water beating off their feathers. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can everybody see that on camera? It's actually good that it's raining because I can actually show you these things. So you can see the water beating off their feathers. Do you know how that happens and why that happens?
No idea.
So have you guys ever seen a pelican rubbing the back of its neck just down on its back? Have you ever seen the pelicans rubbing its neck?
Yes.
Behind it? Okay. So what it's actually doing is the pelican is rubbing its neck on its preen glands.
Yeah.
It's called preening. So that's what we refer to as preening. So what they're actually doing is they're picking up the oil, the preen oil from those preen glands, and what they do is they rub it on their plumage. Their plumage is their feathers. Now they rub it on their plumage in order to what?
Keep themselves clean?
They waterproof their feathers.
Wow.
With the oil from the preen gland. So you can see that the water is it's not actually soaking in to the feather, to the plumage of the feathers of the pelican. It's actually rolling off, almost like it's been polished.
Yep. So how he was doing that, so what is he doing with that filter right now?
Okay, so what he's doing at the moment, I was just getting to this actually, what he's doing is filtering water out. So the pelican's bill is what it's generally called.
Yeah.
When they catch fish, see, you'll know what he did. I threw that one into the water. Now what he did was picked it up out of the water. So he was actually picking up water with that fish.
Yeah.
So what they do, they can hold about 30 gallons of water in their bill.
Bloody hell.
They don't actually, there is an old saying and an old belief that pelicans can hold food and store food into their beak, into their bill. They don't. They don't actually use it for storage.
Okay, so not like the pelican from Finding Nemo?
No, they don't use it for storage at all. It is a massive myth. So they actually can hold 30 gallons of water in their bill. So you'll notice when they pick up a fish, there's water that obviously they pick up in the bill with the fish.
Yeah.
So what he was doing then was filtering that water out.
Wow.
So what they do when they do catch fish is they move the water to one side of their bill and move the fish around. So they move the water to either side of their bill and they filter it out through the front. Now, breathing. Pelicans do have nostrils, but they don't use them to breathe.
Where are they?
The nostrils, they're just at the front. So the nostrils are actually sealed off.
Yeah.
They're mouth breathers. They're mouth breathers, so they breathe through the mouth, not through the nostrils, which are in fact closed off. So what you would think, because they're closed off, that they're non-functional.
Yes.
Right? Well, they do serve a function. What they actually do with these nostrils is they use it to remove salt. Because as you can imagine, they take in a lot of salt, a lot of water, which is salty water. So what they use it for is to get rid of this salt out of their body.
Huh.
So they use it for filtering. So that's what their nostrils are actually for, is removing all that salt from their body that they take in from the water.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty darn cool.
Now, pelicans. When pelicans you've seen them diving. You've
Yes.
seen them, you know, flying, and they take that deep dive.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Would you imagine that they would suffer some sort of internal injury hitting so hard?
You would think so. It's such an impact.
Yep. They actually don't.
Wow.
The pelican, underneath its skin, has what we call its sacs, like
Okay.
air sacs.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when the pelican is coming in for a landing? These air sacs inflate, and once it's inflated, when they hit, it stops their internal organs from getting injured. Now you'll notice, I don't know whether you've ever seen a pelican come in for landing and land. Have you ever seen a pelican come in for landing?
Once. I have once.
Yep.
Yes.
They always turn to the left.
Yes, I did notice that. It's always to the left.
They always turn to the left
Yes.
when they're landing. You know why?
No.
They turn to the left because when they land, by turning to the left, it prevents damage to their trachea and their esophagus. You will never ever see a pelican land any other way but to the left to come in for a landing. And as I said before, they prevent that damage to their internal organs by use of the air sacs, which they inflate just before landing.
That's pretty cool.
So you are looking at a pretty intelligent bird.
Okay.
Now, as I said before, they do breed in colonies.
Alright, so what is he doing right now?
What's he doing?
Yes.
He could be cleaning his bill. That's what he could be doing. They do this for a number of reasons. Could be cleaning his bill, or he could have come across some of the fish that we throw, and he's trying to grab that fish. Look, pelicans will do those sort of things for a number of reasons. Cleaning, catching, all that sort of thing.
No worries.
We're not actually interested in this little one over here right now. Yeah. But you are looking at the Australian pelican, the largest. And pelicans are, like I said, the largest of the marine birds.
Yeah.
And they're also one of the most advanced of the marine birds as well. Just the way that they protect themselves against predators and that sort of thing. And their sheer size is a reason for that. Now, they don't only eat fish.
What else do they eat?
Crustaceans.
Yeah.
Turtles.
Turtles. How
So,
do they eat turtles?
in their bill.
With the shell and everything? That's sad.
So they do eat turtles. They do eat other things, and crustaceans, as you know, is crabs or that sort of thing. So they are known to eat, you know, harder shelled fish as well.
Yeah.
So they're not just limited to one food source. But what you will not see, as I said before, you will not see a pelican in the open ocean ever.
Will they fly over the open ocean?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
they will never.
But they will never ever spend any time on the ocean like they are here. They tend to spend a lot of their time around these areas here, and this is where their food sources a lot of the times is.
Yeah.
Now they will eat other birds.
What type of birds?
There was a pelican seen a few years ago eating a what do you call those birds? Pigeon.
Pigeon.
A pigeon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they will eat, I guess you could say, a range of different fruits.
Yeah.
So their food source is quite wide.
Yeah.
And like I said before, they will hunt in groups.
Mhm.
Now, some species will what they call deep dive, which means they will come in and they will swoop from above.
Yeah. Like the cormorant.
Like a cormorant, yes.
Yeah.
The white American pelican is one of these that will do it, and they can spot a fish from about 60 feet.
Wow.
So they do have quite a keen eye.
Yeah.
Now the scientific name for a pelican is, no idea. Pelicanidae.
Pelicanidae.
Now, it was thought that they were part of the same species as a cormorant, but they're not.
Okay.
They are grouped together with the ibis. So they are in the same groupings as the ibis.
Wow.
Even though the ibis is not a marine bird, they are in that grouping. Now, how long do you reckon they've been around for?
I'll say a while. Couldn't give an estimate.
Fossils have shown that the pelican has been around for about 30 million years.
That's a long time.
I thought our cameraman was going to go in the water. He's got his foot caught. So, yeah, that's basically the pelican in a nutshell. They are a beautiful bird. I am soaking wet, so is Shania. But we are Man to Marine podcast. We will go anywhere in any type of weather to get an animal on camera. Right. So you guys have a great afternoon. That is the Australian pelican that we were just looking at. As I said, there is 8 other different species of pelican. What we will do is we will go through the other 7 species in a later episode, if you like. But that is the pelican in a nutshell.
Yes.
Thank you, Shania. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Man to Marine out.